Observation revealed. Morning, Mike. Did you get moved into the Major's room?
Good morning, Captain. Sorry I'm late. Yes, I'm moved, but I have some settling in yet to do. Think it might rain?
Not according to the forecast, but the satellite picture shows a warm front approaching from the southwest, so an afternoon thunderstorm wouldn't be a surprise.
Last night I dreamed of flying in one of those towering cumulus clouds you described, Captain, most likely inspired by our Jumango flight. What a wild ride and fascinating adventure. The popping out into the skyscape was priceless. Not much compared to your actual flights in them, though, I suppose.
I'd be the last to put down flying dreams, Mike.
Ah, yes. Dreams can take us anywhere without limits, can't they, Captain? Especially your flying dreams. And there's often such a thin line between them and reality.
Yes, Mike. After all, some of the most significant events of our lives occur entirely within our own minds. Our imaginations, inspirations, and dreams can become important realities.
As with levitation, Captain?
I think so, Mike, but you might say I'm an eccentric to believe that.
Not at all, Captain. Doesn't everyone strongly believe in many things they have never seen or experienced firsthand which defy scientific proof? God, for example? Wouldn't life have much less meaning without dreams, aspirations, hopes, faith, and beliefs? Weren't many great scientific discoveries inspired, born, and nurtured inside scientists' heads? I happen to believe in levitation too, Captain.
Have you dreamed of it, Mike?
More than that, Captain. I think I witnessed it.
Really, Mike? You think you witnessed levitation? Tell me about it.
I once saw a man appear to lift himself several feet out of his chair.
What do you mean, appear to, Mike?
Well, there was a blanket over him, and I couldn't see the space between him and his chair.
Was this some kind of carnival sideshow, magic act, or film?
No, Captain, there was no one else around, and I'm sure the man didn't know I saw him. There was no discernible reason I could see for him to be putting on an act.
What happened then, Mike?
Nothing. I was so astonished I didn't know what to do. As a stranger, I didn't want to challenge him or intrude on his privacy, so I just watched and did nothing.
Did you ever go back?
Yes, Captain, but that was the only time I ever witnessed the event. Nevertheless, I truly believe that what I saw was genuine levitation.
Mike, does this have anything to do with what you meant when you said you had something to share with me when you first arrived?
Yes, Captain.
There's more to it then, isn't there?
Yes, Captain, that man was you. You weren't dreaming. You were actually flying, just as you described your dream to me.
A long silence followed. Well, a good thing I didn't try to fly too far or too high, wasn't it, Mike? Why didn't you tell me this before? And how do I know you're not putting me on? After all, you were deceptive about your identity, and there is no proof of your story.
Captain, just as I have no proof, neither do I have any reason to fabricate it. I didn't tell you before because I hoped you might eventually trust me enough to help you learn to consciously achieve your lifelong goal of flying.
Another long curtain of silence fell between them. Instead of elation, as might be expected with such incredibly good news, the captain seemed to be totally deflated. He just sat with his head bowed and his hands tightly clasped, perhaps in prayer. Mike, this just became a long day for me. I believe what you say, but I need a time out now to ponder this. I see that we can expect some weather through here this afternoon. So take the rest of the day off to get settled in your new quarters while I gather my thoughts and consider how to proceed from here. Okay?
A good idea, Captain. I'll await your call for our next meeting.
When the captain did not come to the dining room for dinner, Mike consulted Georgie.
The captain said he would have dinner in his room this evening, Mike. That's not unusual for him. He has a small kitchenette, and he keeps several pots of spaghetti and stew he made in his freezer for such times as special events in the dining room in the evening, like birthday or anniversary frivolities. I hope there's nothing wrong.
No, Georgie, we were at a point in his story where he wanted to take a break. Plus, the rain was approaching and I needed to settle in and make some notes. I'm really happy with the room and this place altogether. You do an outstanding job managing it. In case he hasn't told you so, the captain loves it here too.
That's good to hear, Mike. I mostly have to judge how we're doing by the number of complaints. It goes with the territory in this business, and I know the captain wouldn't be bashful about offering suggestions if he was unhappy with us. Like him, most of the men here achieved positions of authority in their professions. They were accustomed to being in charge, plus living in their own homes where things were done their way, so they are more than helpful on occasion.
I'm sure you get lots of rudder signals, Georgie, not to mention government regulations to deal with. Coming to a place like this may be one of the hardest adjustments a person ever has to make. I can see that it would be like being guest in a stranger's home and having nothing meaningful to do or contribute. Did you ever see the British comedy series about a retirement home, Waiting for God?
Oh, yes, Mike. We have the entire series on DVD in our library. I love it, even though it portrays the home's manager as a greedy, selfish jerk. But the folks here mostly don't care for it. They complain about the British accents being difficult to understand. But I believe the scenes simply strike nerves too close to home to be funny to them. As Garrison Keillor would say about aging, it's not for the timid. Especially now that medical science has given us a life expectancy of nearly a century. Our social systems haven't kept up, so we spend a third or more of our lives in retirement, with a 65% probability of our final 3 years in an assisted living, memory care, or nursing home. Before coming here, I worked at another retirement community operated by our parent company, which is a much grander scale facility than this one. There, they have 4 types of accommodations: 2- and 3-bedroom duplex homes, full-size apartments, smaller assisted living apartments, and nursing care rooms in what is virtually a hospital. Heritage Oaks has a single, large buffet-style dining room, which doesn't work very well for physically impaired seniors. However, there is another, smaller, sit-down dining room at the apartment building. The idea there is for seniors to begin easing into the assisted lifestyle early on, rather than wait for drastic changes later. So, those communities prefer not to take in older folks and discourage them by charging an exorbitantly high, non-refundable entry fee.
Fenceless cul-de-sac retirement communities don't appeal to me. There's too much of everyone getting in each other's face. I guess they are okay for highly gregarious people, though, who are the ones who adapt best to places like this. Like the captain, I'd rather put it off as long as possible. He was retired from the Navy in 1986 with over 30 years active service when he was only 53 years old. His father enlisted in the Army in 1924 at age 18 and retired at age 48. He passed nearly 40 years later, so both my father and grandfather spent close to half their lives in retirement. It's not easy for middle-aged band leaders and fighter pilots to begin new careers at age 50, Georgie. Fortunately, the captain saw the writing on the wall after seeing his father flounder for a while before he went into his lawnmower repair shop at Pacific Beach, so he was well prepared for retirement with lots of interests and hobbies.
Yes, Mike, the captain seems to have maintained a more positive and optimistic outlook than most folks I know. At his age, he is extremely fortunate to be as alert and healthy as he is.
Amen to that, Georgie. Naturally, I didn't know what to expect, so I am elated to find him in such good shape and with a clear memory of his past.
Indeed, Mike, though I'm sure that writing his memoirs has helped a lot with that.
Oh, he didn't mention that. He just said that he wanted to write his autobiography but had been too busy living it.
Oh dear, Mike, I'm afraid I may have spoken out of turn, though he didn't indicate that it was not to be mentioned to anyone.
No problem, Georgie, I assure you. It makes me feel better about my identity deception. Besides, his writing has obviously made it much easier for him to tell his story and for me to co-author it. The important thing is to get it into print. Hopefully, he will also agree to narrating it on CD or DVD.
Good idea, Mike. That would especially benefit his children and grandchildren who barely know him.
Gives him something to look forward to also, doesn't it? This project reminds me of an outstanding film, Little Big Man, starring Dustin Hoffman.
Yes, we have that in our library too. It gets shown at least once a year. I think it's also one of the captain's favorites. The situation was much the same as yours, isn't it? A reporter interviewing the very old last survivor of Custer's last stand. The best therapy there is for old folks is to find an interested ear to tell their stories to. Unfortunately, that rarely happens, so we need to encourage more seniors to write their memoirs. We have had some success with volunteer students' assistants in recording oral histories, but it takes a special talent to be accepted and to do it well. Perhaps you should consider volunteering your services with others here after finishing the captain's story.
Georgie, at the rate we are going, I'll be lucky if I live long enough to finish the captain's story.